They are jarring, dangerous, and often totally avoidable. Bridge strikes by tall trucks have caused costly damage and major traffic headaches across Georgia. In July of 2021, a tall truck struck the State Road 86 overpass on I-16. The force of the impact shifted it about 6 feet. That bridge had to be demolished and rebuilt, and it reopened a year later. Then in 2023, a tractor trailer reportedly 40,000 pounds overweight struck the old Mount Vernon Highway bridge over the top end perimeter. Remember this one? This made it necessary to replace the bridge, which was completed in April of 2024. Then last July, an excavator on a trailer collided with the overpass, delaying planned improvements. That bridge remained closed while repairs were made, and it reopened just last week. These kinds of incidents has GDOT asking drivers to check your height and know it's right. With more on this campaign, Kyle Collins, GDOT's Communications Program Manager. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, good morning. It's a great thing to focus on for safety this morning.
Yeah, really important. It impacts a lot of people, businesses in those areas when the road closures happen those strikes, and then traffic, of course. We went through a couple of the recent ones. But how big of a problem is this overall in Georgia, and is it getting worse?
Well, the last 10 years, we've had about 16 bridge strikes on the state route system. Most of those have been on the interstate highways. You highlighted the two on I-16 and also the one that hits closer to home in Sandy Springs in 2023. So not only do they cause millions of dollars of damage, but you got to think of the thousands of hours lost for required detours and really just headaches for local folks trying to get to and from, not to mention the economic development impacts for deliveries and what have you. So it's something we want to raise awareness for. We joined a coalition of eastern states to promote this week, and it's something we feel is totally preventable and avoidable if drivers just pay attention to their clearance, especially when they're driving large trucks.
Yeah, it could help every driver dealing with traffic, and that's everybody in our city every day. So why do you think this is a problem? I'm thinking about everybody knows the height of their car before they go into a parking garage or maybe their own garage. Why do you think the problem persists, even if there are clearance signs and past crashes making headlines? Is this just a knowledge gap or forgetfulness?
I think it could be some of both, and that's part of what this campaign is trying to address, just to remind folks, and specifically for Georgia, each state sets their own height requirements, but we have a maximum of 13 feet 6 inches if you're traveling on the interstate highway, and usually the overpasses and bridges are going to be far beyond that. But specifically, let's focus on the incident in Sandy Springs. Someone was towing an excavator. Essentially, they had a long trailer, and the excavator wasn't secured properly, and that's what led to that incident. Typically, that's what we've seen. The other incidents on I-16 you referenced, same type of deal, just a unsecure load that didn't meet those height requirements. And if you do, if you're a commercial driver carrying something that's over that height, we do have a permitting process where you can get a safe route to still navigate the state to get where you need to go. But it's just something we want people to be aware of. You may be renting a box truck to do some moving, traveling on local bridges that are lower than that threshold we have on the interstate, and it's just something to be mindful of.
That's a really good point. You're renting a box truck or like a moving truck. And I didn't realize every state has its own requirement. So if you're going state to state, and for truckers who are working state to state, they have to know when they're crossing those state lines and how those requirements change. So you were talking about some of the examples of the amount of damage and traffic, but that's also lost dollars. Talk about how much a single bridge strike might cost, like ballpark.
Yeah, just to reference, as I was involved with the Truthland County I-16 incident you referenced in 2021 that moved that bridge. I think it was 6 feet when the excavator struck it. I think some preliminary numbers for lost daily economic impact was around $220,000 to $250,000 just day by day that bridge was out of service. And of course, given the damage sustained, we had to demolish that bridge, and it was quickly rebuilt. It opened about a year to the day later, and there's a nice modern bridge thereafter. But yeah, not only the impacts to state and federal dollars that have to go back into addressing it, but also the loss in economic development, specifically when we're talking about some of these major Atlanta and Southeast Georgia interstates.
Wow, $250,000 a day. That is a very costly mistake. So final thought before we let you go, some advice for anybody maybe renting a moving truck over the weekend. What do we want to make sure everybody knows?
Yeah, just double check that max height of the vehicle. You should be able to find that out, from the rental agency, or even there's some low cost major measurement sticks you could get if you really wanted to double check, but your GPS is not going to accurately tell you the height of those bridges. So it's just something to be aware of. And obviously, our commercial driver friends and CDL holders should already do that as part of their pre-trip check. So just pay attention to it. And, we don't want any more bridge strikes in the state of Georgia if we can help it.
No doubt. Waze cannot help us out on this one. Kyle Collins, we're glad that you can help us out on this one, and we thank you for the time.